All right, today I'm going to walk you through how to create a seller's net sheet in REIN using the Matrix system. This tool is located directly inside Matrix, and it helps you calculate your seller's estimated net proceeds based on sales price, commissions, closing costs, payoff, and other expenses. So you're going to start by logging into REIN, and you're going to open up Matrix. Click on the tab that says Finance. Click on Seller's Estimated Net Proceeds, and this is where the Seller's Net Sheet tool is located. All right, next you will either select from a list of contacts you already have saved in your Matrix system, or you will select an existing contact. Next, you're going to start to input the property's address. The closing date. The closing date that you set should be at least 45 to 60 days out. Now it's time to give your client 3 different options. The first option should be the ARV. This is the price that you have determined from doing your comparative market analysis. Second option should be at least $10,000 less. And the third option would be $20,000 to $30,000 less. Next, you're going to add the estimated payoff. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because you may go off the last balance statement that your client has received. But if your client has been delinquent and they are months behind, there are some fees that will be added. Some of those fees could include a default interest rate, attorney fees, and so the payoff may be much more than what the balance actually shows. That's why it's imperative that you have your client to order a payoff request. Next, you're going to add the closing costs. And I love to just stick with 3% for closing costs. Now, this is not saying that your seller is obligated to pay closing costs, but I think it's a good idea to allow them to see how much a buyer may ask for in closing costs and how it can really impact their bottom line. And then after you do your closing costs, you're going to add your commission. And then following the commission, you're going to add some of these other fees. And I like to go off a 1% rule, so I'm going to use 1%. Of course, your settlement company, closing attorney will be able to provide you with more accurate numbers when it comes to recording costs and things of that nature. But for some, if you do not know the settlement costs from your settlement company, you can kind of add a ballpark figure based on a previous closing that you may had, right? But remember, this is a seller's estimate net sheet. It's not accurate, but it should be close enough. Next, for other. For other is where I would include repairs. If you know the property needs some work to be done to it, right? There are some things that you say, you know what, the carpet needs to be replaced or painting may needs to be done or whatever the case may be, right? You may want to go ahead and prepare your client for what their bottom line will look like if they spent a certain amount on repairs from the repair request, right? Or it could be the 1% cap. So here, I'm gonna put a number just so my client can see, all right, if they had to make repairs or spend for a repair invoice, I want them to already have that calculated. And then you're gonna save this as a PDF, and you're gonna email it to your client, and then call them or meet them in person to actually go over it.